Hello, everybody. I am Asia Suler, author, teacher, and earth intuitive. And every year I do a reading for the year ahead. What can we expect? What's coming up? What is the earth communicating to us about what may be laying in wait for us in the coming year? What blessings might we encounter? I am really excited about this year because some really beautiful themes and imagery came through. And so to start you off, here are some of the themes: hope, possibility, reprieve, and adventure. I am all for those things. I don't know about you. And so these are the themes that came through for me, and they came through an image. So I used to work as an intuitive. I did intuitive readings with folks for a long time. And the way that I work is I receive messages encoded in imagery. And the image can really help you step into the feeling scape of this coming year. So go along with me now for this journey into the image for 2023. So here's the image. The image is dawn light on Cloud Mountain. So just step into this with me. First of all, I think all of us have this inner sense or feeling of what Cloud Mountain means. Like, can you feel that inside of you? Like that inner Cloud Mountain, sort of this misty, mystical place where you can ascend to heights and connect into your most spiritual self. That's Cloud Mountain. Now let's imagine dawn light. So the imagery that I got here was one of the sun coming up and the clouds on this mountain just becoming like these puffs of sherbet-colored light, peaches and pinks and oranges, and just this sense of lightness and reprieve and beauty and this wash of well-being. And I just feel inside of yourself now, before I go into talking about what all specifically came through this image, just feel inside of yourself now. How would that feel if dawn light came and illuminated your inner Cloud Mountain? Like, can you feel that sense of that first light, that possibility, like the long night being over, and this sherbet-colored light here to help you walk into a new day? It's beautiful, right? And I loved this image in particular because mountains have for a very long time been what I would call the prototypical world tree, like the first world tree. World tree being a axis through which we can access the different realms of existence. So we can both ascend mountains to reach these higher heights and connect to the upper world and the realm of spirit, but mountains also go deep underground. So mountains are a bit like icebergs in that only a small percentage of them actually exist above the surface of the earth. So mountains have really deep roots. So we can also go to the bottom of mountains to really connect into the soulful realm of existence and the lower world. So mountains have been sacred for a very long time in humanity because of their ability to help us touch base in with these different realms. And it's sort of the sense inside of us, like the mountains inside of us are our own axis. We have the ability to orient to them, to touch base into these different worlds. And this year, there's a really beautiful opportunity to connect into sort of the lightness of being that exists in some of these upper realms. So the image that I got here and the message that came through for me was this idea that we have spent the last handful of years circumnavigating this mountain. So we have been walking around the base of this mountain, which is a spiritual rite unto itself. In a lot of cultures, the most spiritual thing wouldn't have been to ascend to the summit, but to spend that time getting to know the mountain by walking around its base. And yet that's hard work, right? Like that, it takes a long time. And it's almost this feeling like we've spent the last few years really trying to figure something out. Like, is there something in the past few years you've been really trying to figure out? That's you walking around the base of that mountain. And it's an important journey. It's a journey that we had to take. And yet this year, it's like we can start actually walking up with the dawn, the light of dawn, start walking up into this mountain. And it very much feels like the Fool card to me in the tarot, but keeping in mind that the Fool card is the first card after the entire journey has been taken. So it's that feeling sense of having gone through an entire journey. You moved through all of the major arcana of one particular journey, and now you're starting fresh and new. And there's that feeling of, yeah, just fresh possibility here with 2023. And as we ascend Cloud Mountain, there's this ability to get the wider view. You know, we've been very much on the ground in the past few years, and now we're getting this chance to go up further and get this wider view and perspective on our life. And it's this feeling like there's the way forward is marked and it's clear. And there's still going to be trials, right? Like obviously going and hiking a mountain, there's going to be hard days, but there's a sense of lightening. Like the load is lightened a bit more, and you are going somewhere, but it's less arduous. So there's this sense of, with 2023 being like some of the challenge, like the continual, perpetual challenge, is going to ebb a little bit. Obviously not completely, right? Life is never without challenge, but there's this sense of greater clarity and the possibility of going on an adventure with a light heart and knowing that it's not about the destination, but that you're actually truly excited for the journey. It's not just the slog. It's something that will feel really good to do. And when I had this image come in, very specifically, I saw these string of tea houses, like pearls on a necklace, sort of snaking up into the sherbet clouds of this mountain. And there is a very famous set of trails in Nepal that is dotted by these tea houses where hikers can go, and instead of needing to bring all their gear or all their food, they can hike in between tea houses each night. So each night they have a place to sleep and guaranteed food. And that's kind of the feeling a little bit of what to expect in terms of like the day-to-day reality of this year and how things might turn out, is that, of course, there's going to be, challenges on the hike and on this adventure, but that there's going to be these moments of reprieve, these moments where what you're really going to be getting is nourishment and communion for the journey. So often these tea houses are a place of community where you can connect with other hikers and people on the journey. And so it might be for you this year that there's specifically a community that might come in, perhaps new friendships or new groups of people that you might be connecting to. So be open to that if that is going to come in. But it's also the sense of inner communion, like these shining moments of feeling really connected to your spirit, yourself, your relationship to the divine and to your wider knowing. And the message that I got was to really relish these moments when they are happening, like to really sink into it, like you were sitting in a tea ceremony, to just be really present when you have these sort of benefic moments of beauty and community and communion and spiritual connection, because that will feed you for the next leg of the journey. So, look out for these moments of reprieve along the way, because it's almost like they are actually going to define more of the journey than your day-to-day walking through life. Like they're going to refill your tank. And the thing about doing these kinds of hikes where there's these tea houses is that you don't have to carry as heavy of a pack. And this was a really strong message that came through for this year, is being able to put down some sort of burden that you've been carrying. Specifically, it's this feeling that there's a responsibility that you felt like you've needed to carry, that you actually don't. You don't need to carry it anymore. It's not something that you need to shoulder. And so as I'm saying this, something might come up for you. Maybe it's a literal responsibility in your life that is coming to an end, or that you are recognizing you don't need to be beholden to anymore. Or maybe it's something in your mind that you think you have to be responsible for figuring out. or um, or taking care of, and it's more of a thought than it is like a physical thing. So just be open to whatever that is, and there's really this invitation now to make your pack lighter. Put down the burden of that responsibility that is not actually yours to carry, because this is what's going to make it possible for you to step out into this next year with this lightness of spirit and this real trust that something really good is coming our way. And the imagery or the sense of it that I got, the feeling sense, was one of a gap year. So gap year is this concept where normally students will take a year off between something like high school and college or university. And that gap year is a year to find themselves, to experience more of life, to get clarity on their future. And yet, normally when people take a gap year, there's something about the future that's already assured. They've already deferred from college for a year, so they know where they're going. They know there's those possibilities there for them, and there's just this opportunity to take this year to really engage in some self-discovery and some delightful encounters in the world. And that's the sense that I get for this year of the dawn light on Cloud Mountain. It's this sense of getting a bit of a gap year ourselves. Like, the future is already assured. There's something you've already set in motion with these past few years of circumnavigating the mountain. And what you've set in motion, it's like your future is waiting for you. It's there. You don't need to try any harder to make it be there. There's nothing else you need to plan. It's already in motion. Your future is already assured. So you can go on the journey of this year knowing that this is actually a really potent time for self-discovery, but even more than self-discovery, learning self-trust. And I think this is often what people experience when they travel, is this sense of learning how to really trust oneself. And I'm not talking about total independence or only relying on yourself. Like that's an older paradigm, right? We're bridging out of that. It's more about really trusting yourself, trusting your instincts, trusting what you know to be true for you, trusting the way you make your way through the world. There's a really beautiful kind of golden opportunity this year for learning self-trust and knowing that just like a gap year that a student might take, that even though the future is assured, you will be in a different place by the end of this year. And you will be very clear about what it is you want next. And it might be different than what you're thinking now. It might be different than what you've previously set into motion. But no matter where you're at, you'll be very clear. And because you're going to be clear, it'll be easeful. And this is something I think we all need to remember when we start feeling like this sense of impossibility. Like, how is this going to happen? My dreams, like, how are they really going to happen? When we're very clear, things get a lot easier. And it's not to say that everything will fall into place right away, right? But some of the biggest struggle and strife comes about when we're not clear and when we don't trust ourselves, when we don't trust the vision. So the message that I got for this year is, by the end of the adventure of this year, dotted by tea houses, hiking through these sherbet-colored clouds, letting go of some of the burdens and responsibilities you've been carrying to really learn self-trust, by the end of this year, you're going to be like really clear on what the vision is that you want for your life. And because you'll be very clear about that, you will know for sure what your next step is, and it will be waiting for you. And I think that all of us are in a moment right now where we're desiring that, right? It's like we can feel that we've put in the work. And so while I don't feel necessarily like this next year is the year where every one of those visions is going to come to be, what this next year is this really beautiful, sacred opportunity to get clear on the visions by opening yourself up to possibility again, to lightening some of what you've been carrying, and to kind of return to that part of you that always believes in possibility, that knows that there's more sunlit horizons in the future for you, that there's so many more dawns waiting for you. So, in the moment, the invitation is just to really enjoy the adventure and to relish in these reprieves, these pit stops along the way, these tea houses, these moments of communion and connection that will hold you as you're learning this new level of self-trust. And I think it's always good to remember that life is an adventure, right? And that the divine, whatever higher powers are helping to create our lives, has a sense of humor. So it's like, can we see the humor in the slips and the falls and the challenges and, the things along the path? Can we see the humor in that? And I think when we're traveling, sometimes it's easier to do that. You have a bad day and you think, okay, well, tomorrow everything's going to reset. So I can laugh about the fact that I, whatever it was, like slipped in some goat dung and then had to keep hiking that day. And so the invitation is to really feel that way about your life too, and know that the future that you've envisioned in the future that's really waiting for you, for your soul to fulfill this life path that's here for you, it's assured. So you don't have to worry about making it happen. Your job is to be in the moment here on this journey here in Cloud Mountain. So in order to help you move into this year, I really encourage you to take that visual and make it your own. Visuals are really powerful for our brains and our psyches and our spirit. So, ask yourself, like, what does that inner Cloud Mountain look like to you? What does dawn look like when it reaches those big, fluffy white clouds? And, if it's helpful, you could also think about or connect to sacred mountains. So this could be mountains where you live, some of the highest elevations where you live, but also perhaps sacred mountains from your ancestry and the lands that your people are from. These mountains will help support you in making this next step on your journey. One thing I've been doing recently is also, because there was this whole thread of the tea houses, is listening to different singing bowl music or music that feels evocative to me of these kind of high altitude treks. So that could be something too that you could tune into. But I think one of the most important things is just going to be to, get clear on the responsibility that you're willing to put down. So you don't have to carry a really heavy pack going into this year. What is the one thing you're willing to let go of? And then just trust and know that the future is already in motion and you're really just being invited to walk out and meet it en route. So I'm really excited for this coming year. This imagery brought so much peace and beauty to me when I received it, and I hope it brings the same to you. In terms of exciting things in the new year, I'm really delighted that this year, for the first time, I'm bringing a program called Winter Intuition School online. So if you are excited about starting this year, beginning this year in a space of really connecting to your own intuition, your ability to receive imagery, visuals, guidance, this inner compass within you, if that's something you're really wanting to cultivate and have expand in your life, I would love for you to join me. It's a 5-week live online journey beginning on the Lunar New Year this month. And so we'll be gathering together for 5 classes, and we're going to explore the core practices that I use to connect, to give intuitive readings, to receive information and guidance myself, to guide my life. So we're going to talk about shamanic journeying, dream work, channeling, working with nature spirits. It's going to be such a rich experience of exactly what I talked about in those tea houses of communion and community and spiritual connection. So if this cozy space sounds like a space you want to be in and journey with me in the new year, I will put the link here. And we are also offering an early bird price on that. So if you sign up before January 5th, this Thursday, then you'll get $100 off the tuition. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely check that out. I would so love to go on this trek with you, to be on this journey together as we start this really beautiful year full of new potential and new avenues for truly feeling connected to our innermost selves and the futures that await us. So big blessings on this new year, and I so look forward to what's to come.